I am your astrologer, Wonder Girl, and I am here to give you your weekly forecast for Monday, March 6th to Sunday, March 12th. Sorry, I'm a little bit late with this. I've just been feeling a little crazy inside lately with all the energy that's going on, the eclipse that came over, a bunch of my personal planets, some other aspects going on in my life that are just causing a lot of chaos inside. So it's been hard for me, but I'm still gonna try to make this work. So here's your forecast for this week. Now this week, we're actually starting to see some breakthroughs and things to lighten up a little bit. I mean, they're not going to lighten up all the way. You know, that's not going to happen for a little bit longer. But we're starting to get some more clarity on some issues that we've been, dealing with for a while, for things to loosen up, to understand things in new ways as we move forward and try to make plans. So that's really what's happening this week. It's not going to feel totally comfortable because we're still trying to break out of some old ruts, think about some things in new ways. And as you think about things in new ways, it can be a little hard and it can be a little bit difficult, but the skies are starting to clear. We're starting to see that maybe things aren't as bad as they were or have been, but that there's still some stuff we got to work through. Okay, part of that is because we started this week with Venus retrograde, okay? Venus went retrograde on Saturday, where we're starting to go back to review our relationships, to review the things that we value, the things that we love, the things that we find comfort in. Could also be money. We're starting to look at some of these situations again and figure out what was working for us, what didn't, and how can it work better for us? What have we missed or lost that we need to go back to get and to do better and to do differently moving forward? So we kind of come into the week, obviously things starting to lighten up a little bit with our thoughts as we move forward, but also still kind of trying to work a lot of issues out in our life. Towards the beginning of the week, the Sun conjuncts Mercury, so it's a lot of thinking about who you are, about what you want, about where you're going, about what makes you happy. Lots of thoughts happening this week, okay? As you start to figure some of this stuff out, you maybe start to get a little more confident, want to act, to make commitments to things that you've decided or, are going over, maybe commitments to review some things that are happening in your life that you want to really act on to make sure that your life is moving in the direction that you want it to move in. And so you're trying to figure some more things out about life and make the moves that you need to really gain more clarity than you have in the past on what it is you want in life and where it is that you're heading. This is obviously still a lot about what you want for your life and where you're going, about what other people want for your life and who you're bringing on this journey with you. So that's all kind of coming up as you're trying to figure out some things, make some commitments, move forward on your life, make sense of things, and get in that direction. There could be an opportunity to change the way that you think about who you are as you move forward, to try to rearrange kind of your mental life, to maybe communicate about your identity, about what's going on inside, about who you are, to kind of bring some things out into the open and to explain what changes are happening inside you or what intense and deep feelings you have going on. This is a good week to really communicate about some of these things to get more clarity on them. You want to make sure that you have the opportunity and the space in your life to communicate. If you aren't able to say to someone what's on your mind or to find proper outlets to express these deep emotions, these intense feelings that you're having, some of these changes that are happening inside you, then you could get very frustrated. You could get a little hurt. There could be some chaos that kind of goes on inside. So do the best you can to find outlets for your thoughts, to talk to other people, to communicate, to accept the fact that you have these feelings, that things are changing, and that you're trying your best to make sense of them in the way that you know how. It may require you to act in a different way with your relationships. As you're reviewing these things, as you're going back over, you may realize that the things that worked in your relationships in the past weren't working. You need to try new things. You need to do things differently as you try to figure all of this stuff out and move forward, which is happening. Now, after you make a lot of these moves at the beginning of the week and try to get a hold on all these feelings and move forward, you may be feeling a little hurt about your thoughts, about the way that you communicate. Maybe people have communicated something to you that's kind of hurtful or doesn't sit right with you, or maybe you have communicated something to someone else that is very raw inside, okay, and that is kind of difficult for you to express or for you to think in whatever way, so there's that kind of balancing act going where it's like we're kind of trying to move forward and get clarity, but we're still thinking about the past, but still trying to move forward all at the same time. That can make these next few weeks, and this week especially, a little challenging as you go forward if you don't have the patience with yourself and the understanding that sometimes there are a lot of things going on that aren't going to resolve themselves overnight, and that are going to take a lot of patience. Okay, at the end of the week too, we've also got an aspect where you're trying to think and you're trying to communicate in a way that makes sense to who you are, to where you're going, to commit to a way of thinking. You know, you don't want to go back and forth anymore. Am I feeling this? Am I not? You know, are we doing this? Are we not? You know, towards the end of the week, after you kind of get some of all this stuff out, try to gain clarity. Perhaps you want to commit to a way of thinking, or you need to commit, or you feel pressure to commit to a certain way of thinking that maybe is uncomfortable for you, that's new for you, that you don't know kind of where to go with it moving forward. And I think there's really a need to kind of let yourself you know, go down the rabbit hole for a little bit, you know, see where these thoughts lead you, see what's going on, you know, and what's going on here. It's like hard because we've got 2 planets going retrograde, so nothing that you do now is really set in stone. There are a lot of things that are going to change and that are going to come up, some things that you maybe can't anticipate, you know, that are going to change a lot of the ways that we're making sense of things now. So it's like we're trying to make sense of things during a time that it's really hard to make sense of things. And you kind of just have to realize that the answer's not going to come now and commit to a path anyways and move forward with it. So that's going to happen at the end of the week. And then finally, at the very, very end, we've got a full moon in Virgo, which is really an ending of some sort, a culmination of some outward manifestation of your life, of something that you did physically. You know, when I say physically, it could mean a health routine, or a health routine doesn't have to be, you know, physical in your body, but it could also be what's healthy for you internally, what's healthy for you emotionally and spiritually. Maybe you're coming into a new time of getting right with your emotional health and your spiritual health so that you can then move into another situation that really understands you better in that way. It could also be something external that you do on the outside. A daily routine is changing. The way that your life looks outwardly is not going to be the same, you know, at the end of this week moving onward, because the way that things look, the things that you interact with are definitely going to be very, very different as we move forward in this way. So realize that there could be some confusion here as we communicate about the past, you know, feeling hurt about who you are and how you think, you know, some unexpected difficulties in relationships or as things come up as people act on relationships. So be aware of that as it happens, but that you're really having an opportunity as a result of all this to go back to the past and to create a future that is better for you and that makes more sense and that can bring you forward. And we're just kind of having to go through this rough patch now, which is going to take a few weeks. You know, Venus doesn't start going forward again until, you know, the middle of April or so to work out. So keep that in mind. Now, your card for this week is the Empress reversed, if you can see it. Now, the Empress upright, sometimes I like to explain cards by what they mean upright first, is typically a great card of blessings, of joy, of happiness, of new things coming to you, of a birth of some sort, some new beginning. It's a very good card. But when it's reversed, it indicates problems with the new beginning, problems moving forward, problems bringing new things and blessings into your life as you move in that direction. So know that there could be some difficulty this week really manifesting the things in your life that you want to manifest, giving birth to new ideas and new projects and really moving forward with them. I think now you're trying to tie up a lot of things from the past, make sense of the past, figure it out, get a handle on things, so it's not so much about going towards the future and putting new things in place as it is trying to work out some of these deep feelings and figure out what was going on and what you want to happen in the future. I also like to think of the Empress reversed as kind of like a hard day in a long pregnancy. You know, it's like you have to realize that not every day when you're creating something, when you're building something, when you are really passionate about something and want it to happen, is not going to be a good day. You know, some days are going to be great and other days you're going to be throwing up in the bathroom. And I think that that's the message of the Empress reverse, is to really realize that you have ups and downs. You know, the cycle of life goes up and it goes down, and you will have a good thing at the end of this. You know, if you just stick with it, if you just be patient, if you just do the hard work to think about things in the right way, then this will pass and your blessing will come. Okay, but you maybe need to find your inspiration, find your creativity, sit through some hard times when you're not quite sure what that is, in order to really get to the good part at the end of it. So that's all I have for your horoscope for this week. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me. I really, really appreciate it. If you like this video, please share it on Facebook. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think, and I will talk to you later.